Welcome back to another exciting web development tutorial. We have a fantastic project for you today. In this project, we will learn how to add a video background to a website. This will make your website look more dynamic and engaging. Let's take a look at the final version of our project. You will notice a title displayed prominently on the page. In this specific example, the title is my name. We also have a control button for the video. You can use this button to pause the background video. You can also use it to play the video again. We will use the Font Awesome website for our icons. We will grab the play and pause icons from their collection. We will also explore how to find free background videos online. We will use these videos for our project. Whenever you refresh the page, you will notice a preloader animation. It appears briefly before the main website content is ready. We will learn how to find free preloaders for our project. We will use JavaScript to make the preloader show up first. The preloader will be visible while the website is loading. Once the background video and the rest of the website have fully loaded, the preloader will fade away. Let us begin our project by building the structure with HTML. We will create the foundational elements for our web page first. I will see you in the next section, where we will begin the coding process. Let us begin our project by creating a new folder on the desktop. Let's launch Visual Studio Code. Then close the Welcome tab that appears by default. We navigate to the View menu at the top. We then click on the Explorer option. This action opens the File Explorer panel. Next, we choose to open a folder. We browse directly to the desktop location. Finally, we create a brand new folder there. Let's give the folder a name. We will call it Background Video Project. Now, we will select this new folder we just created. We close the Welcome tab that appeared earlier. This gives us a clean workspace to focus on our project files. Now, we will create our main web page file. We need to create an index.html file in this left panel. We perform a right-click in the Explorer area. We then select the option for a new file. We will name this new file index.html. To quickly generate the HTML boilerplate, type a single exclamation mark. Then select the first autocomplete suggestion that appears. Next, we will change the text inside the title tag. We will replace it with a name of our own choosing. For this example, I am using my name Sahand Gabidel. Next, we need to create a header section for our page. We will place this header inside the main body area. Now we add a heading tag inside the header area. We use an h1 tag for this purpose. Inside the h1 tag, we simply type our own name. Let's save our progress by pressing Ctrl and the S key together. We navigate back to the desktop screen. We open the folder we just created. Inside, we find and click on the index.html file. We can see the result in the browser now. Our name is displayed on the page. Now we can head back into our VS Code editor. We are going to add a video tag into our code. We will place it just above the h1 tag. For our background video, we will use a website called Pexels. This site offers free stock videos we can download. Let's open up a web browser. We will search for the website called Pexels. Let's navigate to the Pexels website in our browser. We click on the video section from the homepage. Let's search for a video using a keyword. For this example, we can type in the word time-lapse. For example, I will select this specific video. Then, we can click on the Free Downloads button. We save the downloaded video file to our computer. We then drag and drop that video file directly into the VS Code editor. We place it right inside our project folder. Let's give the file a more descriptive name. We will rename it to backgroundvideo.mp4. Next, navigate back to the index.html file. Inside the video element, we need to add a source attribute. We type in src and set it equal to the file name, which is backgroundvideo.mp4. We save the file with our changes. Let's switch over to the web browser to see the result. We can close the Pexels website tab now. After refreshing our own web page, you will notice the video is displayed right there. Let's return to our code editor now. We are going to add a couple more attributes to our video element. Specifically, we will add the autoplay and loop attributes. We save the file with these new attributes. Next, we check the browser again and refresh the page. You can now see the video automatically playing, and it is set to loop continuously. Let's head back to our code editor now. We are ready to add some styling to make our page look better. We are going to create a new file now. We will name this file styles.css. Let's start by adding some basic styling to the body of our web page. Let's start by setting some basic styles for the body. We will set the margin and padding to 0. We will also set the font family to a sans serif type. We save the file, and then we open the index.html file. We add a link tag just below the title element. This link tag will connect our styles.css file. We will save the CSS file now. After saving, we can check the result in the web browser. Notice how before we refresh the page, there is a margin around the content. After refreshing, you can see that margin and padding are now completely gone. Let's add some custom styling to make our video look better. We will return to our code editor now. Let us navigate back to VS Code. Let's add a class to this video element. We will call this class background video. We save the file and then open the styles.css file. Next, we add the background video class just below the body styles. Next, we open a set of curly braces for our new style rule. We then set the position property to absolute. Next, we set the top property to 0. We also set the left property to 0 as well. Next, we change the width to 100% and the height to 100%. We save the CSS file and then open the browser. We refresh the web page to see the changes. You can see the video has become much smaller in size. Right now, the video only covers the top and bottom. We should make it stretch to fill the left and right sides as well. Let's return to our code editor. We will add the ObjectFit property to the background video class. We set its value to cover. After saving the file, we can check the result in the browser. You can see the video now fills the entire browser window completely. It covers all the available space from edge to edge. There is a problem with our layout. The heading is now positioned behind the video. The video is currently covering the text. We need to move the video behind the heading by adjusting its z-index property. Let's head back to our code editor now. We need to add a z-index property to this rule. Let's set the z-index value to -1. Every element starts with a default z-index value of 0. By setting the video's z-index to -1, it will now appear behind the h1 tag. The h1 tag remains at its default value of 0. Let's save our changes to the style sheet. Then we can go back to the browser and refresh the page to see the result. The heading is now positioned over the video. It appears correctly in front of the background. Let's reduce the brightness of the video. This will make it appear a little bit dimmer on the screen. Let's head back into our code editor now. Next, we add a CSS filter property to the video. We set the brightness value to 30%. Let us open the browser to see how the page looks now. You can see the video is now noticeably dimmer. This makes the background much darker. However, there is a new issue. The text in the heading is now very difficult to read against the dimmed video. Let's head back to our code editor now. We need to make some changes to the h1 tag. Let's add some styling to make the heading text look better. Moving down in our CSS file, we add a rule for the heading. We set the color property to white. Then we can save the file and check the results in the browser. You can see the heading text is now white. This makes it much easier to read. Let me demonstrate a helpful technique for changing the font. This method makes the process quite simple. To open the web developer tools, you can press the keys Ctrl, Shift, and C together on your keyboard. We move our cursor over to the Inspector tab and click on it. Then we click on the heading tag in the Elements panel. On the right side panel, we locate and click on the font section. We can experiment with different font settings here. We can adjust the size and spacing to our preference. For example, we can adjust the letter spacing to our liking. We can also change the font size right here. We click on the Changes tab. From here, we can copy all the generated CSS rules. We head back to our code editor. We paste the new font styles directly into the H1 rule. We save the modified file with our new font styling. Then, we return to the browser to review our changes. After refreshing the browser, you can observe that the font has been successfully updated. Let's center the H1 tag on the page. We want to position it right in the middle. Let's return to our code editor. We need to add a header element around our heading. Let's add a header tag around our heading element. This will help us style and position it. We set the min height property to 100 viewport height units. We also set the display property to grid. Finally, we use the place items property with a value of center. We save the file and switch back to our browser. We then refresh the page to see the changes we just made. You can now see the heading is perfectly centered on the page. This gives our layout a much more balanced and professional look. Let's close the web developer tools now. We are finished making changes to the font. Next, we will add a button to the page. This button will let us pause and play our background video. Let's head back to our code editor now. We navigate back to the index.html file. Next, we add a button element to the page. We can style the button more easily by using Bootstrap. This framework provides ready-made button styles we can apply. Let's open up a web browser. We will search for Bootstrap to get the code we need. We need to get Bootstrap for our project. We can find it by visiting the official Bootstrap website. We click on the Get Started button. We then copy this code snippet. This is the Bootstrap CDN link we need. Let's copy this code to our clipboard. Let's go back to our VS Code editor. We will paste this Bootstrap link above our existing style sheet link. This means we can now use Bootstrap's pre-built styles in our project. These styles will help us create a professional-looking button. We will now add a class to this button element. We use the btn class from Bootstrap for basic button styling. We also add the btn secondary class to give it a gray color. Let's save the file now. Then we can check the result in the browser. Let us refresh the page to see the result. The button should now be visible on the screen. We can now see the gray button has appeared on the screen. To make our button more visually clear, we should add an icon that represents the play function. We need to find the Font Awesome website for icons. Let's open a new browser tab and search for it. We navigate to the Icons section on the website. We use the search function to look for a play icon. To get this icon, we simply click on the play icon. We then copy the generated code snippet. Finally, we paste that code directly inside our button element. You can see this creates a simple icon tag. It uses two classes, one for Font Awesome and one for the specific play icon. To use these font classes from Font Awesome, we must first include their Content Delivery Network link in our HTML document. Let's go back to our web browser. We need to find the Font Awesome Content Delivery Network. We will search for CDN.js. We navigate to the first website in our search results. Then we look for the Font Awesome link on that page. We click on the first result that appears. This will take us to the page where we can copy the link we need. We go back to the VS Code editor. We find the line with the Bootstrap link. We paste the new link directly below it. We save the file to apply the changes. Then we check the browser to see the updated icon. Let's refresh the page in the browser to see the change. The play icon should now be visible. Excellent. The play icon has now appeared on our button. If we want to switch this to a pause icon, the process is very simple. We just need to update the class name. Let's test this change inside VS Code. We will change the play icon to a pause icon. After saving the file, we can return to the browser. We need to refresh the page. You will now see the pause icon displayed correctly. Now we are ready to add JavaScript. This code will give us the ability to pause and play the video. It will also automatically change the button icon from a pause symbol to a play symbol. Let's begin by creating a new file in our project. We are going to name this file index.js. Next, navigate to the index.html file. Find a spot just below the closing header tag. You will add a new script element there. Click on the second autocomplete suggestion that appears. Inside the script tag, you will write the path index.js. Make sure you save your file now. This step is very important. Let's navigate to the index.js file. We're going to add a constant here. We declare a constant variable named btn. We set it equal to document.querySelector. Inside the parentheses, we write a string containing .btn. This refers to the class name we assign to our button element. Let's look at our index.html file. Inside the button tag, you will see a class called btn. We can use the query selector right here. This lets us target the button. We do this by selecting its specific class name. Let's move on to the next step. We need to create another constant for our video element. We use document.querySelector again. This time, we target the class named background video. We copy the class name from our HTML file. We navigate back to the index.js file. We open a set of parentheses for our query selector. Inside the parentheses, we use double quotes. We type a dot and then paste the background video class. Next, we need to set up an event listener for our button. This will allow the button to respond when it is clicked. Next, we will add an event listener to our button. We write btn.addEventListener and open parentheses. This tells the browser to run a function whenever someone clicks the button. We need to create the function now. This function will contain our click handling logic. Looking at the index.html file, we can see the button tag. This tag has two classes assigned to it. The classes are btn and btn secondary. Our goal is to add a new class called pause to the button whenever a user clicks on it. Moving to the index.js file, we write a conditional check. This check looks to see if the button element has a specific CSS class. We use the class list that contains method for this purpose. Inside the parentheses, we type the word pause. This condition checks whether the button currently has the pause class. If it does, the code inside these curly braces will run. We open up a set of curly braces for our function. Inside them, we write btn.classList.remove and specify the pause class to be removed. Therefore, if the button already has the pause class, we want to remove it. This action will then trigger the video to start playing again. Next, we call the video.play method to resume video playback. Otherwise, if the pause class is not present on the button, we will add it. We do this by writing btn.classList.add and specifying the pause class. We also need to pause the video at the same time. Let's save our work now. We can check the results in the browser. Let us refresh the page and press the button. You can see the background video has been paused successfully. When we click the button once more, the video will resume playing in the background. The current button shows a pause icon. We need to change this to a play icon instead. Now we need to return to our code editor. Let's navigate back to Visual Studio Code. Next, we need to create a new constant variable for our icon. We create a new constant named Font Awesome. This constant is set equal to document.querySelector. We will use it to select the element with the class FA. We write document.querySelector with the class FA. Next, we write fa.ClassList.add. We also need to remove the play icon class. This class is called FA_play. We copy this line of code. We change the word add to remove. We also change the word pause to play. Now let's apply the opposite logic for the else part of our code. We proceed to copy these two lines. We paste them into the else section. We then change the first add to remove. We also change the second remove to add. Let's save our file now. We can then check the result in the browser to see the changes. Let's refresh the page now. When you click the button, you will notice the icon has changed to the play symbol. When we click the button one more time, the icon changes back to the pause symbol. Our next feature will be a preloader for the website. This preloader will show an animation while the main content is getting ready. Let's go back to our index.html file in VS Code. We will add a new div element just above the header tag. We need to give this div a class name of preloader. Next, we place an image element inside our div container. This image will be the visual content for that section. Our next step involves downloading a preloader animation. We need a simple GIF image for this purpose. Open your web browser and search for preloader icons on the Icons 8 website. Let's click on the link for icons8.com/preloaders. This website offers a wide variety of preloaders. You will find many excellent options that are free to use. You can see many different styles here. This colorful wheel is a good option. This animated flower is another excellent choice. For this tutorial, I will select the fidget spinner preloader. This particular one is a great choice. We proceed by clicking on this fidget spinner. We will change the background color to transparent. This will make the spinner appear without a colored box behind it. We can adjust the animation speed to our liking. We can also change the spinner size. Let's adjust the size setting to 100 pixels for our spinner. We click on the Generate button. After that, we can download the picture file. We save the downloaded file to our computer. We then drag this image file directly into our VS Code workspace. Let's rename this file to something more descriptive. We will call it Preloader. Now let's head back to our main index.html file. Now we will add an image tag inside this div element. For the source attribute, we set the value to preloader.gif. We will set the alt attribute for this image to the word preloader. Let's save our file and check the result in the browser. We need to refresh the page to see the changes. As you can see, the preloader is now visible on the page. It is positioned on top of the entire website content. Let us add some custom styling to our preloader spinner. We want to make it look just right for our website. Let's navigate back to our VS Code editor now. We need to add some styles for our preloader. We open the styles.css file. We need to create a rule for the preloader. We write the selector and then open a set of curly braces. Inside these braces is where we will add our CSS styles. We start by setting the position property to fixed. This makes the preloader stay in a fixed spot on the screen. Then we set the top, left, right, and bottom properties all to 0. This stretches the preloader to cover the entire viewport. We write top:0. Then we write left:0. Next we write right:0. Finally, we write bottom:0. We will set the background color to white for a clean look. Next, we change the display property to grid. We then center the spinner perfectly by setting both the justify content and align items properties to center. We set the z-index property to a value of 1. This will place the preloader in front of all the other elements on the page. The goal is to have the spinner appear in front of the entire website initially. Once the website has finished loading completely, we will change its z-index to -2. This adjustment effectively moves the spinner behind all the website content. Let's make this transition smooth by setting its duration to 0.3 seconds. We will set the timing function to linear. Let's save the file and check our progress in the browser. When you refresh the page, you can see the preloader is currently visible. The next step is to add JavaScript. This code will hide the preloader by moving it behind the website content after everything has finished loading. Let us go back to the VS Code editor. Next, we navigate to the index.js file. We will add a new constant just below the existing one. We will name this constant preloader. We write document.querySelector. We use it to select the element with the class name preloader. Next, we add an event listener to the window object. We set the event type to be load. This event listener waits for the entire window to finish loading. Once that happens, it will trigger the function we just defined. We write a function to handle the loading event. This function sets the preloader's z-index property to -2. We save the file and open the browser again. We refresh the web page to see the changes. If you reload the page before everything is fully loaded, you will see the spinner appear. To see the preloader more clearly, we can open the browser's developer tools. Press Ctrl, Shift, and C on your keyboard. Inside the developer tools, find the Network tab. Within that tab, you can change the network speed to a slower option like GPRS. Let's refresh the page now. This action will show the preloader in action. Now you can see the preloader spinner much more clearly. This happens because we have slowed down the network speed. This simulation allows us to properly observe the loading animation. And that concludes our Preloader implementation. We have successfully built a complete project. I truly hope you enjoyed following this project. I hope you learned something new and useful today. Your feedback on this video would be greatly appreciated. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Please keep an eye out for future updates with more content. I am actively working on more projects. You can expect to see them added very soon. Thank you for following along with this project. I look forward to our next session together.